Veterans reentering civilian life face many challenges, including finding a job. Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Welcome to this special edition of Military Makeover Operation Career. Today, we have 4 inspirational stories of former servicemen and women who have reinvented themselves and are thriving at companies that value their unique skills. Our hardworking men and women in the United States Armed Forces, just like all of us, understand the importance of higher education and, indeed, the pursuit of knowledge and self-improvement, and that is universal. We recently visited the University of Chicago to literally learn more.
While serving in the military is both tough and rewarding, the quest for higher education after serving your country can be just as daunting for some in our veteran community.
War has changed me. Having gone through that, I see the value in every action, every interaction, supporting people, supporting goals, dreams, ambitions, because that is what's going to be a positive turn. If you invest in people, that's, I think, the exact opposite of war.
The time I served in the military really changed me a lot, and I was curious about how experiences similar to mine or different from mine might cause someone else to change in a different way.
Katie and many other veterans have discovered much about themselves through the rigorous and supportive programs offered by the University of Chicago.
So our Veteran Scholars Initiative was designed to be a holistic program that provides support for our veteran scholars here at the university who are undergraduate veteran students coming out of service. I oversee a lot of the programs that have to do with our veterans.
I wanted to come to UChicago because it has this reputation for rigor. I think a lot of people in the military have a similar kind of thought process, and I wanted to get as much out of my education as I could.
So I had heard about the University of Chicago just through the higher ed pipeline, right, of veterans going in. But it's an elite school. It's super rigorous. It's an incredible institution. I didn't honestly think I had a chance to get in.
Sometimes, too, there's just a reluctance of thinking to themselves that they're not good enough for an institution such as UChicago, that they would never get admitted, that they wouldn't be able to afford it. We always go out of our way to make sure that they know that they're not just welcome at UChicago, but that they belong at UChicago.
If it was truly elitist, I wouldn't be here. And they're choosing students from rural communities, students who are veterans. I think the University of Chicago has really been paving the way to close that gap between what is elite and what is attainable.
UChicago kind of took a different approach, and they started focusing more on things that the veterans need to get taken care of. The price tag on UChicago it's expensive. Whatever the GI Bill doesn't cover, UChicago will cover the rest. So all veterans graduate 100% debt-free.
I'm very passionate about this work. I think that it's really important. It speaks to a larger calling of service and continuing to support service members, much like when I served. My father served in the military, my younger brother as well. So service within our nation has always been important in my family, and in the small town where I'm from really values it a great deal.
I joined because I had made maybe a series of poor life choices earlier on, so I'd kind of hit a low point in my life, so I decided to enlist in the Navy.
I joined at 18. I got a job doing cybersecurity for the Air Force.
Being in the intense South Carolina heat while training to go to Afghanistan, and we're in full battle rattle, full gear, and it's 100 degrees, and you're just dying. You think you're gonna overheat, but you have to go through the training, you have to prepare for combat.
My very first assignment in England, one of the projects I worked on was in one of the ICBM early warning systems. It's a very important system. It does exactly what you'd expect it to do.
From my first deployment to Iraq, I became a platoon leader. All my troops, they made it home safely, and that was what meant the most at the end of the day.
Bo's ironclad commitment to his troops' safety was inspirational. His present-day allegiance to the student veterans of University of Chicago is transformative, speaking directly to the university's devotion to America's returning warriors.
We want student veterans, we want service members, we want them to be successful, and we want them to be happy.
I love this place. It's one of my favorite places in the world. It truly feels like a privilege to walk these grounds every day.
University of Chicago, paving a path to success for our nation's heroes.